All right. Well, here we are. I just finished up a mock draft on pick number one, and as I expected, there was after the first round, even during the first round, there were some auto picks. So you don't get a great judge on what you want to do later on, but I've got some thoughts about this draft. First, Jahmyr Gibbs, he's my guy. I love Detroit. You guys know me. I love Detroit. I love Jahmyr Gibbs. Wow, the guy is amazing. And well, that's what I have to do. And after that I don't like this new layout thing. Okay. You used to be able to see the whole list of players that had been taken, and now you just see one. You can't see the list. There's no list here for me to review. You know, before I could look at this. Oh, we can go like this. Picks. There we go. Okay, so I switched it over to picks here because that's the way I like to see my layout. So over here is Bijan Robinson went second, Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Christian McCaffrey, James Cook. Okay, and I've got a long ways back to my pick. I'm looking at, I don't know, maybe a couple of receiver, running back. Definitely not taking a quarterback yet. Here's AJ Brown. Guys, who isn't seeing a Randy Moss, Tom Brady situation with this Drake May and AJ Brown thing happening in New England? I mean, we watched this, what was that, 15 years ago or something like that? And Tom Brady had 50-plus touchdowns, and Randy Moss had like 25 touchdowns. It was an amazing season for both of them. And I'm just hoping that's what we're looking at with that, and I might play into that. But I'm looking at taking a tight end late, but since I'm the first pick, later on, I'm looking at taking two tight ends back-to-back. You know, a situation where I take like Travis Kelce and Jake Ferguson or something like that. You know, because, okay, I'm going to be taking two late tight ends who are theoretically, you know, volume guys because, you know, it's Jake Ferguson and Travis Kelce. You know, but I'm also protecting myself from injury, you know, and there's also other guys there. It doesn't have to be Jake Ferguson and Travis Kelce. I mean, if you wait until a few rounds later, you know, like 8, 9, 10, you can double up on those tight ends and give yourself some security. And wide receivers, by the time this gets back to me, the wide receivers are going to be swallowed up. So are some of the top running backs. So this is an interesting position. You know, I love pick one because that gives you the first overall, but there's some danger to it. There's some danger. Okay, so what happened after stop scrolling back to where it was. Okay, it was Cook, Genty, Jefferson, and then the back-to-backs were Achane and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And then it was Jonathan Taylor, Omarion Hampton, Saquon Barkley, CeeDee Lamb, Derrick Henry, and then Walker at Kansas City. Okay, and I'm coming up in just a couple of picks, and like I said, I might go running back, wide receiver. Definitely not taking a tight end yet. I've got this plan for tight ends late. And quarterbacks I can wait on. There's some great quarterbacks later on. Who was that? Let's see. It was Walker. Then Jost Brown goes. Yes. Drake London. How did he do last year? What were his points last year? Does this show it here? Last year had 167. But there went. He came back in. I thought that was a draft pick. Let's see what Walt's team number 101 is going to make his pick, and then it's me. I like Pickens. I like Brown. I don't know about rookies. You guys know how I feel about rookies. Let's see. Rashee Rice. There's Williams. Okay, so he took Drake London. That takes that off of my list of possibilities. How'd Nico Collins do last year? He had a pretty rough, let's see, he 190 yards, it's not great. Not bad. Pickens had a heck of a season. But A.J. Brown, guys, I'm really in love with this idea of doing A.J. Brown Because of that Randy Moss Tom Brady connection. I don't know if this projection is right. This is, we're basing it on what? This is AI projecting this? Do they know who AJ Brown is? How great he actually is? And Drake May, that's a heck of a quarterback right there. I'm not going to draft the rookie love. Look, guys, I just don't know how that's turning out, and I'm scared. I'm not taking a tight end or a quarterback. So unless I reach for one of these running backs, Williams, I may as well take. Let's take Pickens right here. Maybe. Nico Collins. I do like Nico Collins. It's just, Bowers. A lot of people are screaming, take Brock Bowers. And last year, what did he do? 144 points for the season. Missed a couple of games, if I remember right. Definitely Josh Allen. Some of you screaming that, too. Take Josh Allen. Take Josh Allen. But what I'm going to do is I could take Pickens and be quite happy with that, can't I? Draft. All right. So that is our first 3 rounds. I ended up with a running back, 2 wide receivers. We take a look at what's coming up, what should be coming back around to me a little bit. I could get Etienne or Scattaboo, possibly DeAndre Swift as my second running back. Montgomery, Judkins is here. So I have options at my second running back that I'm feeling pretty good about. Dude, he's a rookie. He's a rookie. It's not often a rookie comes out and just really does. And plus, rookies run up against a wall. Later on, I could get Travion Henderson. That'd be a fine second running back. Maybe actually he'd be a flex guy because by then I've got a different running back. But anyhow, all right. I'm gonna kind of go silent for a minute. We'll come back to you in a few. It's my pick. Now I'm going to do this, change the layout here. I know what I need, and I'm going to change this back to picks just because. And anyhow, fellas, we've still got some options here at running back. Look at Travis Etienne right here. Here's David Montgomery and Judkins from Cleveland. So I've got options there, and we've also got options at wide receiver. Flowers, Waddle. Here's Loveland. He might be interesting as a tight end, but I've made a decision. I'm going to wait. I won't take Wilson or McConkey. Egbuka is a good idea. But this Etienne, and I'm not going to do Burden. I know that's taking a chance, and I just don't want to take that chance. So I'm going to take Etienne, and that gives me my second running back, and now I need my flex position because I've got 2 receivers and 2 running backs. And I'm holding out for quarterbacks because quarterback is pretty deep. So, Zay Flowers is an option. This is my first draft, so I don't have any of these guys on any other teams because this is my first team. I could take a DeAndre Swift, but I have in the past loved doing a Gibbs plus Montgomery, and they have different bye weeks. So I'm going to do Gibbs plus Montgomery because I'm a Detroit homer, and I was doing that because I was taking up all of Detroit's points. And I think Montgomery will have a fine season out in Houston. So let's do another Gibbs Montgomery. Okay, we'll change this layout again, and then you can look at what my team looks like. Brown and Pickens, Gibbs, Etienne, and Montgomery. I'm pretty happy. Ignore these grades they give you over here. This is an AI thing. Do not be listening to AI. Your draft is better than AI. If it was going to be AI, you would just let it be on auto draft. And ain't none of us trying to let it be on auto draft. Nobody wants it on auto draft. Ugh. So, anyways, okay, well, they seem to have, here, check this out. I'm going to go check out quarterbacks. Boom, they let Drake May get back to me. So I feel like I'm just going to go ahead on and Drake May one of these picks. Seriously, that AJ Brown, Drake May thing, dude, I'm seriously flashbacks. Okay, I could take a Laporta, a Fannin, a Kyle Pitts. At running back, I've got a bye week issue. So I may take Jaylen Warren. But you take a look at wide receivers right here, and I also like Jameson Williams right here. So let's go get Drake May. And then let's take a look back at these running backs. I do have a bye week issue. and I could grab a Jaylen Warren. It's his job, you know. I mean, he did great last year. As far guys, this is a bench player for me. This is my first bench. So I solved my bye week issue. Etienne and Montgomery both have a bye week in 8, but Gibbs is week 6. I don't have an issue at wide receiver, so this solves this week 8 problem at the running back position. Anyhow, so now I'm really hoping that like a Jameson Williams gets back to me, but DJ Moore might be an interesting pick. Devontae Adams just went. You know, there's Alec Pierce. Oh, guys, he got his contract, but week or 2 from returning. So, you know, my friend Keith, he will not draft somebody who is hurt on draft day. I don't know that it's hurt him, but I mean, I don't know. But okay, so anyhow, Alex Pierce does look like an interesting one. Parker Washington, you know, was hot late in the season. Brandon Aubrey, a kicker, just went with the 79th pick. I'm sorry, fellas, that's too early to do that. But I may take a quarterback here. And, I mean, okay, Justin Herbert, decent year, sure. Trevor Lawrence, though, really showed what he's capable of last year, and seems like he's taken a step forward. So I could do, you know, Dak Prescott also had, you know, a pretty good year. You know, I mean, geez, we know what he's capable of. Wish he could still run. Dart showed a lot of promise. Bo Nix is a volume guy. But I think I'd like to take a Trevor Lawrence and, you ready for this? Take Alec Pierce along with it. So let's do that. And then I get my tight ends on the next round. But Alec Pierce, guys, I'm hurting at wide receiver. A.J. Brown and George Pickens was all I had, and Pierce fits in nicely with a bye week of 13. He'll be back in, I don't know, they said a week or 2, but I don't know. If he's back in week 2, fine, that's great. That's what, 5-6 weeks from now? I mean, 100% Alec Pierce is going to be a good member of this team. You know, it fits in nicely with what we're doing. Fits in nicely. Yeah, a lot of what I expected. I'm not taking a defense here. I just, you know, I have a crippling fear that me having my picks like queued and stuff puts the thought into the universe, and then boom, someone takes my picks. But anyways, I'm looking at tight ends, and I'm looking to Travis Kelce for one of them, and there's Jake Ferguson. It's a different bye week. I don't want Andrews. I don't want Likely. I could do Goddard. I could do Kincaid, but I really like to have Ferguson. There, boom. 2 tight ends back to back. I turn that into a monster tight end duo, and I just play the hot hand. If Travis Kelce starts to get cold, okay. You know, I mean, you know, maybe him and Taylor Swift are pregnant or something. Ferguson, you know, he's got the occasional week where Pickens and CeeDee Lamb aren't taking all the catches. You know, he has a few of them, but it's a fine backup for, you know, when Kelce will be out. Anyways, I've got 2 more bench positions. I've got to get a kicker and a defense. I'm probably going to be looking at a defense and one of those bench positions. You know, let's look. I've got a lot of running backs, so nothing here is really going to do me really great, although I'd like Tracy in the event that Scattaboo gets hurt again. And then there's wide receivers. Some of my favorites are like Jaden Reed and Golden. I don't know. I believe in Jordan Love. I do, to my own deficit, but at this late part of the draft, you know, do we take Downs? Do we take Wilson out of Arizona? That's not a horrible idea, is it? I mean, he had a decent year last year, right? Better than Harrison. There went Wilson. See ya, fella. So you get what I'm saying. You know, we've got a kicker defense that we absolutely need and 2 bench positions. And I'll get that figured out. We'll be back in a few. Okay. Yeah, that was quick, right? Just kidding. All right, so we know we're taking a defense in this round. I like the Seahawks as a defense. Kickers, for some reason, are flying off the board here. I mean, there's 3 or 4 of them here that I'd be happy to have. Although, Fairbairn, that's. Let's take a look at wide receivers. I had mentioned Golden, but I believe I can wait on Golden. I really do. So I'm going to hold off on that. I mean, other than that, maybe Romeo Doubs. But actually, let's do Golden right now, and then let's do our defense of Seattle. There. All right, so I got my defense, and I got the... by the way, you can hear in the background, I've got Star Trek Strange New Worlds playing. Fellas, I love this show. All right, we'll see you back in a few. And that... Okay, worked out fine. I guess I could just take Fairbairn. And then, wow, they really raided the wide receiver ranks. So... I can actually just take anybody, take a risk on somebody. But, I mean, Debo heading back to San Francisco is not a terrible idea. I like Tesla because, Detroit. But there's 2 guys that are going to get all those catches in Detroit, so. Okay, maybe a running back. Algier, Bigsby, Spears. Well, maybe this is, you know what? Maybe this is the year that Bijan gets hurt. Let's take Algier. Boom. All right, fellas, that's the end of that draft. Let's take a look at what the team looks like. Drake May, A.J. Brown, George Pickens, Jahmyr Gibbs, Travis Etienne, Travis Kelce, David Montgomery, Ka'imi Fairbairn, and the Seattle Seahawks. Then we've got Jaylen Warren on the bench, backup quarterback Trevor Lawrence. Alec Pierce will be back in a few weeks. Jake Ferguson is a backup tight end. We have Golden from Green Bay at wide receiver 4. And then we're taking a chance on Algier getting some playing time. I love this team. Don't trust the AI summaries. Don't look at standings. Just trust what you did. All right. Y'all, thanks for tuning in to our first draft.